happy Tuesday. I really had to think hard about what day it is. Thank you all so much for tuning in to the PHNX Coyotes Podcast. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and leave us a 5-star review. I'm Leah here with Petey and Craig and Sean. We all have our feet up this morning. It's kind of the first time the three of us.
You guys have the same sneakers on too. Just saying. Pretty much. Kinda.
If you look at the screen, you can see that the bottoms are completely
same,
different.
The sides are really
and no
similar.
one can see the sides except for you.
Show them the sides.
94 days until the first game.
But who's counting?
That's a long time.
It's so funny because I feel like the season ended and then it was crazy. It was the vote, it was the draft, it was development camp, and all of us are like, let me just breathe. And now we're here, and it's like, all right, is it the season?
There's nothing going on. Yeah. So this will be a show about nothing. We don't have any content for you today. Sorry.
We're stealing?
Yeah.
Maybe that should be the show tomorrow. As Bo mentioned earlier, it's the slowest sports day of the entire year. So we'll have to see. But there is a bunch to talk about today because it's been a while since we've kind of taken a peek at the rest of the NHL. And a lot's gone on, obviously, with free agency. There's been some trades. So we're going to talk about that today. And then we're debuting a new segment, Trivia Tuesday, hosted by Petey, so we'll get to that at the end. Stick around for that. But we're going to just take a look at, we can't go through every team because it would take 2 hours, but we'll just look at some of the most notable free agent signings around the league and kind of spend some time on that because we spent a lot of time on the Coyotes free agency and haven't really looked at anyone else.
Coyotes free agency, which is ongoing.
Yes.
Hopefully we'll wrap up at some point soon.
Matt Dumba, where are you?
Yeah, seriously. And the restricted free agents, too. We found out Jack McBain's arbitration hearing will be on July 30th. I've been told the sides aren't that far apart, so I'd be surprised, actually, if it even goes to arbitration. But got a few things still hanging out there. Ivan Prosvetov, Matthias Maccelli. Let's get that one done.
We need it.
Yeah, Maccelli gets that. The Prosvetov is interesting to me now because now they're in a different spot than they've ever been, where they were almost forced to re-sign him.
You mean a 10,000 goalie prospects?
Yeah. Yes.
So it's interesting.
And Matt
they're not forced to do it right now. Nope. So they're in a different spot.
Nicholas said 67 working days until October 13th.
Buddy.
That's 67 shows.
67 shows.
Oh.
Lawson Crouse shows.
My God.
That's a lot of shows. We're literally going, what are we going to do tomorrow? We got 67 to do?
We already know.
We have some guests.
We have some guests next week. So we're going to have Boogie. We're going to have Stetch. And we're going to have on Friday.
So Boogie's
on Friday?
Like Boogie's going to be.
What's that guy's name again?
On Friday? Exactly.
Patrick Brown.
Patrick Brown.
Who?
Yeah. So.
Boogie, we might, that might have to be a holiday. Can we get a parade?
Yeah.
We schedule a parade. You're
going to be happy.
Down Van Buren.
And I'm going to ask Patrick on Friday to bring in his book of dad jokes, and he can just read them for an entire segment.
They're painful. They're bad. They're bad dad jokes. Actually, you know what? That's we should make that. That's a Wednesday bet. That's our Dad Joke Wednesdays, and me and you can do dad jokes.
God, I didn't sign up for this.
Yeah. Let's do it. Dad Joke Wednesdays. You in? Close the show every Wednesday with dad jokes.
Okay, like one or two, right?
Yeah.
We won't fill up.
It's not the show. It's the last bit. We end the show with Dad Joke Wednesdays.
I'm pretty sure the numbers will drop.
Do we end the segment?
Okay.
You
with
in?
a dad joke.
Start tomorrow.
Starting tomorrow.
Well,
okay.
It's Wednesday.
All right.
You got to come with the first dad joke.
Okay.
We'll each do one each Wednesday.
Yeah.
A bad dad joke while they're all bad.
There we go. See how that happens?
Wow.
Okay.
I'll peek it behind the curtain.
Meetings?
All right, let's talk about NHL free agency, and we'll kind of look at, like I said, the most notable ones, and we'll start with Carolina because a former Coyote signed there, Michael Bunting. He got his payday, 3 years, $4.5 million. Dmitry Orlov also signed in Carolina, 2 years, $7.75 million. Those were two of the most notable signings with Carolina. I'm just going to run through the list and then we can choose to talk about whichever ones.
Okay.
OEL signed in Florida, another former Coyote after the Canucks bought him out. Signs a 1 year, $2.25 million deal in Florida. Ryan O'Reilly leaves the Leafs, heads to Nashville, $4.5 million for 4 years.
4 years.
And that's per
Definitely
year.
Definitely going to talk about that one.
That's per year, by the way. And then Toronto, they had a massive free agency, signed Reeves, 3 years, $1.35 million per year. John Klingberg, $4.5 million for 1 year. Bertuzzi, $5.5 million for a year. And another former Coyote, Max Domi, 1 year, $3 million.
I'd like to go to Carolina.
Let's do it.
Because here's a team that looked to be towards the top of the Eastern Conference standings all year.
So close.
They're so close to being a team that you go, gosh, this is a team that I had them picked to win a couple rounds in this year's playoffs. They had injuries at the wrong time.
Yeah, Svetch being out hurt.
Yeah, and so you look at Bunting and you go, oh, does Bunting help bring them some of their offense? And the answer is yes. The problem for this team is they're going to have to go in this year. And you look at some of the guys, Sebastian Aho, Teuvo Teravainen, Martin Necas, Martinuk, Jarvis, and Nason are all up to the end of the year. Like, that's a lot of guys you're going to have to sign for next year. So this
is it?
This is it. And so this is where you make a run and you put a guy like Bunting. And one of the things I don't know if this team had enough of, they're unbelievable puck pursuit team. They were the best team in the National Hockey League at puck pursuit. And I'll argue anybody to that point, meaning in all three zones, they chased the puck. They made it almost impossible to break out against. They smothered teams in the offense and the defensive zone. They didn't have that little bit of jam. And Martinuk tried, but he's not Bunting. I think Bunting's going to help with that jam that can also produce some points. Bunting's a fit guy for me. You got to fit in the right spot. I like him here. He's fast enough, can play with their top players, like you talk about Aho and Teravainen. He can play that kind of role, but he can also give a little rough stuff in the corners, give him a little grit. So I like that. Dmitry Orlov, this is a team, I like their back end. They defend with Slavin, and they defend as well as anybody on the back end. And so now you had Brent Burns, Slavin, Brady Shea, Pesce, Chad Field, and now you had Dmitry Orlov. This might be as good a top six as there is in the league. Like, they're that good. This team is a few signings away. They're not fully fleshed out yet. But I like this Carolina team, and I like those two signings.
Yeah, I felt like they were a cup contender last season anyway. You mentioned the injuries, but this is a really good team, and you're right. This is their window. They must feel it closing now because all the contracts, and then they make all these moves. This team is right there again, and then you expect Boston to take a step back, right? Boston's going to take a step back in the East. There's still a lot of good teams in the East, but Carolina's right there. They may be the best team in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, that one, it was interesting. They also re-signed Freddie Anderson. That was, a big move for them. And then also re-signed Antti Raanta.
Antti Raanta will be there as their backup.
So again, all these former Coyotes making moves. I know you want to talk about Ryan O'Reilly.
What's Nashville doing?
Yeah, I'm confused about Nashville.
Petey, thoughts? What's Nashville doing? They're not a contender.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I don't know if they're trying to make a push to get them the Central Division. I think they think they're a playoff team now. I think they think they are. If you go in and put that kind of money down on a player like that,
he's 32 years old.
I don't know what to say. They're lacking in so many spots.
Yeah.
Who else? You signed Luke Shen, who
and your blue line that was once the strength of your team, that's basically gone now.
It's gone. And Luke Shen, Luke Shen was a Coyote. I like Luke Shen. I forgot he was still in the league.
Yeah, he's a third pair to extra defenseman.
He brings a little bit of grit. Yep. We like Luke Shen as a person. He's a good locker room guy. All of those things are true. Yeah. But you go back 6 years ago, the Nashville Predators were built on their defense. That was, Ekholm, Yossi. Like, this was their strength, and now it just no longer is. And I look through this roster and I go, I don't get the Ryan O'Reilly. I don't know where he fits. Again, I don't think they're ready. Yeah. I don't think they're ready for a big player like that and assigning in a spot like this for that kind of money. I don't quite see the fit.
What are they, though? Are they coming, or are they in transition? What are they?
I think they're in transition, but they're trying to skip the rebuild phase. And I think with Trotz wants to make a splash. He's the new GM. He wants to make a splash in the market. This is their.
Ryan O'Reilly's a guy that fits Barry Trotz, right?
100%.
Yeah, but and we know he can coach the hell out of players and get a lot more than you would think out of the talent that he's been given. He's done it other places. He did it in Nashville when he was the coach there. He did it on Long Island with the Islanders. But I just don't see the pieces on this roster to make Ryan O'Reilly make any sense. I don't understand what they're doing.
Yeah, that's an interesting one for me. That there's been a couple teams where it's like I'm very unsure of what the goal is here. Nashville was one, but never say never. I think we underestimated Nashville last year. Yeah. They have a new coach, a new GM. Hopefully they'll be healthy. So,
but you're right. But the amount of work we talked about Carolina having work to do. they have 4 forwards signed after next season. That's it. Like, they lose the rest of their forwards. And if you go to their roster right now, today, who's actually signed today? Ryan O'Reilly, Gustav Nyquist, Colton Sissons, Cody Glass. Like, really? Like, that's a team you think is going to compete in the Central Division, where Minnesota is still there, Colorado is still there, Chicago's taking a step forward, and to be honest, the Arizona Coyotes have taken a step forward.
Yeah, I don't get it.
So I don't see Nashville as a playoff team, but they've taken one of the biggest pieces of the free agent market and signed him to a $4.5
which is strange.
million
with
contract.
this
4 years is the thing that surprises
Yeah,
me even more,
'cause
right?
This whole like the theme of this free agency has been short-term deals because the cap's gonna go up. Everyone's kind of hedging their bets on that, and like it's so rare in this free. We haven't seen anything more than like a 4 or 5 year deal. So to
Maybe
have
Ryan O'Reilly wanted term, I
one
don't
of
know.
the biggest free agents on the free agent market signing to 4 years it's interesting.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's if it's simply him wanting security, and that's the place where he could get it. But if you're Ryan O'Reilly, with what you've done in your career, are you at the point where you're like, okay, I've got my cup, or I just want some security and stability for 4 years? I don't know what his
Maybe.
thinking is, because you're not going to be competing for a cup over the next 4 years of your career.
I don't see it. I don't know. And again, what this makes me wonder is, what's the free agent market for Ryan O'Reilly?
Yeah,
Like, $4.5 million is not that much money.
no, I mean it's the number itself for him at that position.
Yes.
Maybe even as a
But
third line center at
you
that
go
point.
through-
That's the money he's getting, third line center.
I'm going to make a bold statement in the middle of July. And looking at their 12 NHL contracted forwards they have today, the Arizona Coyotes forwards are better than the Nashville Predators today.
Ooh.
That's a bold statement, Cotton. Like, so they are better. And to put that kind of a player into that lineup, I would question that. Like, if Bill Armstrong turned around and signed Ryan O'Reilly right now, you'd kind of question it. But it would make almost more sense in Arizona.
And he wouldn't have done it for 4 years, right?
No, he would have done it for 1 or 2. And then he would have traded him.
Yeah.
That's
And
true.
And maybe that's what happens here.
But
I don't
with
get
4
that
years,
sense.
with that term, I'm not sure you can trade him
Yeah.
now. That's the thing that baffles me here.
Yes.
You're locked into Ryan O'Reilly now.
Look at us talking.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Chris, so we have a couple things. So Chris said the cap hit for leadership for a second line center if they decide to tear down, not awful. So that's
Fair point.
a different perspective. Brian said Nashville not sticking to a rebuild plan, forever an 8th and 9th place team. And Michael said Nashville are making the same mistakes we made in the past.
That's what I think.
That's
I think
what I
that
feel
you
like too.
spin your wheels in the middle instead of
Yes.
dropping down where you need to drop to get the elite players. That's what this signing says.
Yeah,
to me.
and I know when I won't jump ahead, but we're talking other teams, and there's teams that are on the rise, and there's teams that fall. And if you get stuck in that mud in the middle, you get stuck in there for a very long time. And the
Yeah.
Coyotes did that for decades.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's talk. I know I want to get to Toronto, but let's just quickly touch on OEL in Florida. I think having a short deal on way less money than he's made in years. Hopefully this takes the pressure off him being in a market like Florida versus a market like Vancouver, plus making less money. I'm hoping that this can be his career resurgence year. You know, we've seen it happen a lot in Arizona where players come here on a 1-year deal to kind of find themselves. I think the same thing can happen for OEL in Florida. So obviously if Florida, they faced Vegas's defense and couldn't match that in the Stanley Cup final, so bolsters their blue line a little. But I just hope for OEL, I think all the three of us here are big fans of him as a person and want to see him succeed.
Petey, where does he slot? Is he a third pair at this point?
He's a third pair on this team, and I'll tell you why. This is the team that plays. They had a great playoffs until they got hurt. They end up in the Stanley Cup Finals, and you look at their back end: Ekblad, Montour, Forsling, Mikkola is 6'4". He's on the way up.
Yeah,
and so that's 4 right there. Plus, you still have Dmitry Kulikov and Mahura. Like, Oliver's the third pair guy here. He's not expected to be the power play guy. He's not going to be the first or second power play guy. He's not going to be the guy that needs to score. I mean, you saw the numbers that Brandon Montour and Forsling put up last year. They've got offense from their defense. Their big defender is Ekblad. Like, his role is going to be so diminished from what he's been accustomed to in the minutes he ate here in Arizona, and then the role he was expected to play in Vancouver that never really panned out. Florida is going to have a very good defenseman playing in a third pair in situations. My guess is he's going to kill more penalties than he has in a long time. And he's not going to have that burden of, I got to play 22 to 25 minutes a game. Right. I can play 16 to 18.
He'll play up to a salary.
I'm not the captain. I'm not making $10.5 million. I'm not expected to do all these things. I'm going to go play. We all believe in Oliver Ekman-Larsson's skill and his ability to play this game. We haven't seen it in a very, very long time. This might be a breakout season, but Craig, the bar's low.
Yeah.
Like for him to have a breakout season, he just needs to be average.
Yeah, kind of. The thing that I can't figure out about Oliver, and I obviously chronicled everything that he went through in his life. Well, he had a lot of blows. I mean, not losing his mother had far greater impact than I think people understand. His relationship with his mother was incredible, and she was such a force in his life. I don't think people really have a grasp of how much that rocked him. But then you talk about some of the other things, going from Dave Tippett to Rick Tocchet. That wasn't a good thing for Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Losing Shane Doan, having to become the captain. There were a lot of things. What I never understood, and maybe it was just the knee injuries that we were told were never that serious. He always had minor procedures. How did he lose so much of that fluid skating that we saw early on in his career? He's not an old guy, but I don't know if the game got faster, his speed diminished. I couldn't figure that part of it out, because to watch guys blow around him wide was just eye-popping for me, because we didn't see that. Part of what made him so effective is his ability to get back and retrieve pucks and move them so quickly. He was really effective in that area of the game, and then suddenly he wasn't.
It was one of those guys where all the dominoes fell over and it really affected him. So I don't know if any of those on its own did it. Yeah. Craig, or all the things you mentioned, I think the injuries took a bigger toll. And I don't know if it was physical or mental. Like you look at some of those injuries and they were going back blind, getting hit into the boards. It's hard to go back and get a puck again after that. And you know what pain can get caused and what you had to go through it. So it makes you a little more tentative going back to retrieve pucks. I think that was a bigger part than people realize. But all of those emotional things made it harder. That contract was hard for him to play under. He was the highest paid guy in the team and he wasn't playing like it. And it was a spiral for him. Yeah. He wanted to be better. He just couldn't find his way out. And you kept thinking, well, this will be what gets him out. This will get, Vancouver is going to get him out of this hole and he's going to come there. This is the first time he's out from underneath that contract and he can just play. So I don't think their expectations of him are going to be extremely high.
Yeah.
And I think that might give him the room to succeed and at least be happy playing the game again.
And that contract, again, just to give people context, was it a bad contract? Yeah, absolutely. It ended up being a very bad contract. And a lot of people thought so at the time because his play had already slipped when he signed that contract. What the Coyotes were trying to do with that contract was to show that they were willing to pay guys to keep them, because the reputation of this franchise was, they let all their good players walk away. So they wanted to make a statement with that Oliver Ekman-Larsson contract. And Nicholas Hjalmarsson, remember, re-signed that same summer. They wanted to make a statement. In the end, it ended up being an albatross for him, but that was the thinking at the time.
Yeah, and that was the John Chayka era, and that was a difficult decision between Chayka and Tocchet. I mean, there were a lot of conversations about should we or shouldn't we, and what does, to your point, what kind of a statement did that send on our franchise? And you saw the signings in the John Chayka era. You could talk about Schmaltz, you could talk about Keller, and Chychrun, and you go, oh my goodness, at some of them you go, oh, those are bad, and then all of a sudden, maybe not. Like Keller, when we said, oh, what a bad contract, it isn't anymore.
Nope.
Chychrun, you're going, oh my gosh. That kind of money for a Chychrun in his role, great contract.
Exactly. It is a great contract. Yeah.
Hindsight is always pretty darn good. And I think this Oliver contract, they were in a spot they had to make that signing. Yeah. They literally had to. For the fan base, for the franchise, for the future, they had to make that signing, even though I really believe management knew, coaching staff knew, they knew that by the end of that contract, you're going to hate it.
Well, there was talk that they should have traded him. There was talk of trading him right then and there, that he was already on his way down.
Close.
There were some people there. But you're right.
That would not have sat well
exactly.
with people.
Like, think about his reputation at that point where he was. He was probably the most popular Coyotes player, right? Everybody knew he was going to be a captain at some point. Incredible human being. You saw the stuff he did off the ice. Imagine just walking away from that. That would not have sat well either. Like you said, Petey, it's easy to sit back now and say that was a terrible contract, but had they made the other decision at the time, they would have been killed for that as well.
But that's what's interesting, because you can sit there and remember, look at all the heat this franchise is taking for not keeping Shane Doan on the business side. Yep. Can you imagine if you lose your captain and most popular player in a trade? My goodness, you can see it across the league when you lose that player, even though it could be the right decision. Sometimes it's a hard decision to make. And I think it was just as much a PR move as it was a hockey move.
Yep.
Yeah. Lots of support for OEL in the chat. Also, hello, Jay from CHU Blackhawks in the chat. Thanks for stopping by, Jay. What's up? I want to talk about Toronto for a minute, because
Do we have to talk about the Blackhawks and the Jays here?
No.
Okay. Sorry, Jay.
Reeves, Klingberg, Bertuzzi, Domi, among others. What do you think? Petey, I'm going to send it to you. What do you think about Toronto's moves?
Toronto's still in a spot. You got to figure out what they're going to do with Nylander. I mean, that's really what this whole summer has come down to, is what are they going to do with Nylander? And according to what I've read, they're waiting to see what Matthews does to figure out what Nylander is going to do, because they want to see what Matthews' money is going to come in. They've still got a problem. You look at the players they signed. The one thing that they have across the board is they got a little bite and they got a little grit. I mean, when you look at the way Bertuzzi, Domi, and clearly Ryan Reeves, I think has a limited role with this team. I disagree. To me, Ryan Reeves is a guy that's not going to play every night for that team. That team plays on speed and skill, and Ryan Reeves doesn't have that anymore. If you can limit his minutes, and I mean 8 to 10 minutes, it is still nice to throw a guy over the boards that guys are looking over their shoulder. Hey, is he on the ice? It makes a difference. And
they're not going to mess with Matthews and Marner.
Right. So, but I still that role is still continuing to be diminished. Vegas didn't have that role.
Yeah,
and Dallas didn't have that role.
It's kind of surprising to see it happen in Toronto. Places where they've gone the other direction. But
skilled and speed.
But they've got a new general manager. Yep. They've got a new advisor to that general manager, and I know that they were looking for more bite. They wanted more bite in the lineup. And when you add Reeves, you add Bertuzzi, even Domi, Max Domi.
But CWP, who had Max Domi on his 7th different team before age 30.
But this is here's what I look at Max Domi. Max Domi plays with bite. I saw him during the regular season in Chicago, and you go, oh, it's kind of exciting and fun. I thought there were moments in Dallas that he was their best player. There were moments, and I mean moments. The problem with Max and even Bertuzzi, I think they're going to be good playoff players, and that's clearly what Toronto's trying to do. You want the guy that's going to block shots, that he's going to battle in the corner, you're going to get a little bit of grit. My concern is you better be prepared to kill a lot of penalties. And sometimes, especially in the playoffs, if you sit in the penalty box a lot, Dallas Stars lost a game in the Western Conference Final. One of the games they lost completely because they were in the penalty box for the entire first period. And Max was as guilty as anybody in that. So you want those guys that walk the line, but you want to keep your 5 players on the ice. You don't want to be in the box all night. So I'm concerned about that. They're making a pretty hard shift.
They are.
And you better get the Nylander deal better get done, and you better continue to be a high-skill, high-speed team, because you can't change like this overnight.
Just one more thing on Toronto before we move on. Austin Matthews, at the end of his current contract, if he became a free agent, would be 27. If he signs even a short-term deal with Toronto, and there's been a lot of talk about that, and we had some people telling us that was the idea a while ago, that he was going to sign not a max contract, but something 3-4 years. We'll see. Even if he signs for 3 or 4 years and then becomes a free agent, and if you still believe, and there are people who believe, people that know Austin Matthews well, that believe that he is intrigued by the idea of playing in Arizona, should the Coyotes go after him at that point? If he is, say he's coming into free agency at age 31, are you looking at signing Austin Matthews to a long contract at that point? Is this just a marketing thing? Because how effective is he well into that contract?
Yes. 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 And part of there's 2 things you want to do when you own a sports franchise. You want to win and you want to sell tickets. Austin Matthews in Arizona is going to sell tickets. I don't care if he's 31, 35, 40. He's going to sell tickets. So will he get the 7 years here? I don't know. It depends what he does from 27 to 31.
Yeah.
But the answer to the question, yes.
Man, I'd be very careful with the terms still, because we hear so much about how this team has to be responsible.
I said they should have limited the terms of contracts years ago. I've argued with every GM that's ever been through here that you should never sign anybody more than 6 years. And I don't care if it's Sidney Crosby or Alexander Ovechkin. That's what I believe. Because by year 7 or 8, you're going to hate the contract. No, on anybody, any player, because you're starting to, the landscape changes so much.
Yeah.
And you can sour on players like that. So, yeah, I don't love the term. If the GM that signs that contract to Austin Matthews for 7 years here in Arizona won't be there when he's done in 7 years. So who cares? Get him signed, get him locked up, do the best you can for 4 years, make a run at the cup, sell as many Austin Matthews Kachina jerseys as you can, and let her go. Because you're going to end up at your cottage in Ontario at the end of it anyway. So just let her rip. Send it.
I'd love to cover it. I'd love to cover it. Just asking the question, just playing devil's advocate for what it looks like at the end of that contract.
Plus, I'm just sitting here talking about it and actually have to sign it.
Steven says no. Nicholas says Matthews will play for the Coyotes at some point. Hard to say when, but he will. Tim said Matthews will sign a 3 to 4 year deal. Heard it here first. And then Steven said, go after McDavid.
I think the biggest key to getting Matthews here, he needs to win a cup. Once if he can win a cup with the Toronto Maple Leafs, let's say they win this year. I keep saying this to people, like, it is about the money. And I know every day it's not about the money, it is about the money. Dude's made enough money.
Yeah.
Right? So check money off your list. At some point, Craig, and this goes for the four of us sitting here right now, right? Where I live matters to me. It matters to me. And I don't make $10, $11 million a year, but it matters to me. If I can go play a game in my hometown, in a place I want to be with my friends and family.
He loves it here.
And what you're going to pay me $500,000 to $1 million less? Put it in the terms of me, so that's $20-$30 difference. Buddy, you stay here. Do I turn down jobs because there are cities I don't want to go to? Absolutely, there are. So people go, oh, he'll never play here. Bullshit. It's a great place to live. His friends and family are here if he has won a cup because guys want to win. He'll have enough money, so don't ever say never for Austin Matthews in Arizona.
I'm really intrigued by what's going to happen here now that Shane Doan's there. And I know there are a lot of people who are like, oh, they brought him in just for that. No, they didn't.
No.
He and Brad Treliving go way back. They're such good friends. There's such a mutual respect. Brad hired him for his mind. That's why he's in Toronto. Is it a nice side dish that Austin Matthews was basically living in his house? He's good friends with Josh Doan. Yeah, that helps a lot. Because I'm sure Toronto wants to sign him more than 3 years. I'm sure they'd like to lock him up
for sure
to a long-term deal. And then if they do, like now we're talking about okay, do you bring Austin Matthews in at 34 or 35? Yeah. I am far more skeptical of that one for selling tickets. I think that's a mistake.
At
for
34 or 35?
Yes. Yeah.
You know who won't have to worry about that?
Bill Armstrong.
Me and you.
I hope Bill Armstrong gets, you never know. Like you talk about, it's crazy the longevity of executives and coaches in this league. They don't have it. There's no job security. It's crazy how often it turns over. Anyway, go ahead.
Lots of changes across the league and lots of changes on BetMGM with the lines as things move, the futures change. So make sure you lock in the odds you like best today on BetMGM. You can bet on the MLB All-Star Game tonight. It's tonight, right, Sean? Okay. And you can play the Swing for the Fences game. Speaking of baseball, it's super fun. Log into the BetMGM app. You choose an area of the strike zone. It's a 1-in-4 shot. You can win a single, a double, a triple, or a home run. It's so fun. And then you place that bet on MLB. Try it. I promise you. You will enjoy it. Sean and I play it every single day. And if you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use the bonus code PHNX. There's a few different offers depending on where you live. But for our Arizona audience, place your first bet offer and receive up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if it loses with BetMGM. Again, make sure you use the bonus code PHNX. Check out the show notes for full details. And now listen to Shane talk about the disclaimer.
Disclaimer, 21 plus to wager. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. U.S. promotional offers not available in Washington, D.C., Mississippi, Nevada, New York, and Ontario. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Colorado, D.C., Illinois, Indiana, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Wyoming. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369, New York. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, Arizona. 1-800-522-4700, Kansas, Nevada. 1-800-327-5050, Massachusetts. 1-800-BETS-OFF, Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help, Michigan.
Do you guys know what day it is today?
Taco Tuesday?
It's Taco
Margarita
Tuesday.
Monday?
Well,
Petey, you know what do we have for breakfast today?
Oh, God. Yeah.
Breakfast tacos.
You did?
With maple syrup.
You did, for real?
Maple syrup.
I
Andre
had
Turner
keto
used maple
blueberry
syrup.
muffins.
No? You want to talk about syrup?
I would have put syrup on those if I would have had them because they could have used it. Sorry, Heidi.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks again, Andre. Good syrup.
It is Taco Tuesday today, and I'm super excited because Illegal Pete's is hooking us up today. We're getting tacos.
I know
from
Jackson's
Illegal
heading down
Pete's.
to Tucson, and he's already talking about Illegal Pete's.
Heck yeah. So
I did not order my Illegal Pete's tacos. I am now sad. Will there be extras?
we didn't order them. It's like a catering.
They
for
bring
all of
them.
us.
When are they coming?
Relax.
1 o'clock. Stick around, Craig. Legal Pete's, there's something every single day. Yesterday, Monday, it was Margarita Monday, so you can kick off your week the right way with that. Exclusive to Arizona locations, $3 margs all day, every Monday. And don't forget about Taco Tuesdays. That's today. So head to Legal Pete's, $2 tacos all day, every Tuesdays. Tacos. Yep. Enjoy your favorite chicken, pork, and veggie tacos for just $2. And,
wow.
Swing by and start your week off the right way at a Legal Pete's and get the queso.
$2 tacos, queso, and then we can grab a beer and watch the All-Star game.
Yep. Sounds like a perfect day,
buddy,
to be honest. All right. We're going to get into the trades now. Before we do, were there any other signings you guys wanted to touch on? / did you want to talk about who's still available? It's not a very exciting list. Patrick Kane.
I'll tell you one guy who's still available.
Is Matt Dumba.
Matt Dumba.
Matt, we're waiting.
Okay. Yeah, I want to say one thing.
Okay.
Just Patrick Kane. Can we talk about Patrick Kane?
Yeah.
You like to talk about Patrick Kane.
I do.
Yeah.
You're a Patrick Kane hater.
You're a hater.
No, I'm not a hater. Again, I'll say he's one of my favorite American-born players of
he's
all
from Buffalo,
time.
not Minnesota?
He is from Buffalo, by the way. Taxi.
Oh,
too soon?
Too soon. Unreal. Unbelievable.
Wow.
But
Okay.
But I don't know how everybody's saying that he's on the top of the free agent list. Dude's getting surgery. Can't play.
Yeah, that's fair.
Struggled with the New York Rangers. I don't care. Anybody says he had one game, he got 4 points. Big fucking deal. Like, he struggled on that team. He ruined their chemistry going to the playoffs. I think the New York Rangers are out of the playoffs because they signed Patrick Kane. I think the Rangers make the Eastern Conference Finals without him. And I don't know who's sitting there going, Patrick Kane's a guy that you need to grab in free agency right now. I don't understand it. Well, how is he the top guy in free agency?
Sean?
You were talking about selling tickets. He'd sell
Buffalo.
tickets.
With
the exception of the
you
taxi driver.
Buffalo?
Time.
Yes. So, again, what do I always say about players? Fit. Where do they fit? Where does Patrick Kane fit? That might be the only place that I would sign Patrick Kane is the Sabres.
I think the Rangers are overrated.
Craig is such a hater of the Rangers.
I'm a hater.
Yeah, I like
He
him.
was on that last.
Can you imagine
last
okay,
playoffs.
put him on, because again, the Rangers had too many Patrick Kane players already. Slow perimeter guys that pull up the. Buffalo doesn't. See, you should be a GM in this league.
1994.
Can you put in a call?
Can
for
you
me?
imagine him with that logo?
1994.
Yes, I can.
Let's go.
There's too much.
Let's go. I'm in.
I've been imagining it for about 24.
What I said,
Well,
wrong.
how about 30 years
Never
since
mind.
the Rangers won a cup? Just saying. Every advantage. Oh,
Never
wait.
mind.
It's not as bad as the Leafs, obviously, but
Um,
two franchises that have every advantage under the sun
Yep.
can't win cups.
Phil Kessel's still available.
Phil Kessel is still available.
Does he sign and continue a streak?
I don't know.
I think this would be the perfect time for him to sunset his career, but he did say that he wants to
play.
keep playing.
You know where he should go? He should go to the Florida Panthers and sign
wants
for
to
the minimum.
He wants to play.
Yep.
Yeah, that would be a good signing.
Doesn't he have a place there? He goes there in the summer.
Yeah, he wants to play.
Yeah.
He wants to go out playing. He doesn't want to go out sitting in the press
Too bad
box.
Madison doesn't have a team.
Because I'm sure that would be his
Great
first
state of
choice.
Wisconsin.
Superior State, as you
Well,
said
I mean,
this
I'm
morning.
Superior
sure that would be his
Minnesota,
first
but-
choice after living in Arizona and Vegas. Madison, Madtown, Wisconsin. No offense.
He likes
Madtown.
Madison. That's where he's from. What are you talking about?
I
It's
like
hometown.
Minnesota. I'm from there too, but I don't want to live there,
Yeah, that's
buddy.
fair. I like Madison in the summer. Not
Cottage
so much in the
cabin,
winter. Not so much in the winter.
pool, pond would be good for you.
All right. Matt Dumber, we're waiting for you. Everyone else on this, I mean, Tarasenko is
We
clearly
still
the
gotta
biggest.
talk about trades and play a game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. Tarasenko is clearly the biggest name on this list, but everybody else, it's like HK, I
Yep,
guess,
fair.
except for Matt Dumba, which Coyotes were still waiting. All right, let's get to the trades. And by trades, I mean trade, because this was the big one that just happened. The Detroit Red Wings have acquired forward Alex DeBrincat from the Ottawa Senators for forward Dominic Kubalik, defenseman Donovan Sabrengo, a conditional first-round pick in the 2024 NHL draft, and a fourth-round pick in the 2024 draft.
I like Dominic Kubalik. He was a Blackhawk. I don't know if Jay's still here, but would love his thoughts in the chat.
Alex DeBrincat was also a Blackhawk.
Yeah, I mean,
Alex
Kubelik's
DeBrincat
first year
is amazingly well traveled already. huh?
Kubelik's had 30 goals in his first year there. That year was the year they went to the bubble playoffs, and he was like, Kubelik was noticed. Like, you noticed him when he was on the ice. I like it. He's really fizzled, but when I say fizzled, he got 20 last year.
Yeah, 20 goals, yeah.
So on a bad team with more ice time, he's 27 years old. I like him. He's 6'2". I think he brings them a little something. I know absolutely nothing about Donovan Sabrengo. So I can't really, he's 6'1", 195 defenseman, played for the Toledo Walleye in the East
Wow,
Coast
what
League.
a
Conditional
name.
first-round pick in the 2024 draft.
So Donovan
That's a
Spring
lot
is
of
going to be in the
conditions on that
minors.
pick, by the way. Did you write them down? Or?
No.
Good,
do
because
you-
I'm not going to try and
Yeah.
remember them because it's insane, the conditions on that first-round pick. But do the Ottawa Senators get enough for Alex DeBrincat?
I don't
Who
know.
had how many goals last season?
27, right? Yeah, 27. He had 40 goals in his career twice. DeBrincat, one of the things that I think DeBrincat has shown is he's much better when he's got better players around him. And you saw that year with Kane 2 years ago. Patrick Kane, we talked about. Yeah, we did talk
Are
about
you,
him.
you
2
seen
years
Patrick
ago?
Kane's praises? Is that what's
I
happening?
mean, he dished the puck. That was 2 years ago, buddy. And even then, all he did is stop at the blue line and pass the puck to DeBrincat. DeBrincat, I don't know how much more you expected to get for him. And I think the market is what the market will bear. And I think they've tried for a very long time to trade Alex DeBrincat, and this is the best offer that they got in return. We'll have to see what the conditional pick is. You got a minor league defenseman, and you got Kubalik.
Yeah.
That's it?
I have one more thing on Alex DeBrincat. Why did they need to trade him?
Yeah, that was interesting. 'Cause he's just an RFA, right?
Yeah. Alex DeBrincat didn't want to play in Ottawa. I don't know if you read Bruce Garriak's story. He didn't want to play in Ottawa. And this leads to a bigger story that probably needs to be written, but you probably won't see it coming from north of the border because there's an opposite narrative going. We've seen players leaving Calgary.
Yeah.
We've seen players leaving Winnipeg.
Yep.
Now we see a big-time player leaving Ottawa. How many Canadian markets do you guys actually want to play in? I would argue that you could throw Edmonton on that list if Connor McDavid weren't there.
If he's not there, yes.
And that was, you remember the Edmonton, they
Yes.
had to pay a premium to get players
Yes.
to come and play there? When Connor McDavid's gone, you can throw Edmonton. So you've got
Yes.
Edmonton, Calgary, Ottawa, and Winnipeg as places where players may not want to play. You don't have a lot of Canadian markets where guys apparently want to play at this point. The taxes are high. That's one thing. What's another thing?
We just talked about the climate.
Where do I want to live?
Where do I want to live?
Matthew Tkachuk wanted to go to South Beach. That's what he did. So when we talk about relocation or expansion and Canadians saying we need more teams up here, Quebec should have a team. Really? You don't have enough markets to attract players. Quebec is smaller than all of the markets that we just talked about.
Yeah.
Do players want to play in Quebec? Is there another market I'm missing where they might want to come play? I don't think so. Canada, sorry, you got a problem. I know it's your game, and I love this game. This is my game. You better deal with reality here because there are not a lot of attractive Canadian markets where players want to go. And I think that trend is going to continue and become greater. Players make decisions based on where they want to live now, too. Quality of life, taxes, those things matter. Canada has a problem.
And where is Alex DeBrincat from?
Michigan. And where's he going to play?
Detroit. So
And you look at the player, and we talked about all the players that were demanding trades. There's sure a hell of a lot of them. And Hellebuck's still out there. We talked about one player south of the border that demanded a trade was Jacob Chychrun. Wanted out. But when we say wanted out, management went to him to see if he wanted to get out, and he did. And he went back to where his family was from, to Ottawa.
Yeah.
Again, it goes back to
Home.
family and where you live and go home.
Yeah,
It's
and the Coyotes
it's
are
a common theme here.
Coyotes are a unique situation right now.
Yeah.
You know, but they're the one that always gets hammered for it. Nobody wants to go there, and it's fair that this
Sure.
probably isn't a premium destination
sure.
in free agency. But if you're gonna lay that out there, well, you better consider other places that are not
Yes.
premium destinations anymore. I don't see the NHL expanding into Canada at any point in the near future.
I'll say that. But Christian just said it. Just called it.
What?
Yeah.
Christian, that
Canada is boring.
Also, Christian, your profile picture is Drake, and you're calling Canada boring.
Toronto, Montreal, and Vancouver are not boring to play. Those
Canada's
are markets.
Not boring. I love Canada.
But
Calgary's not boring either. It's
Edmonton's
Players
great.
don't want to play there.
In the
there's a
summer.
lot. Listen.
Toronto's fire.
I will not take Canada slander from that.
Johnny Gaudreau,
I
bye.
agree with-
Matthew Tkachuk,
I
bye.
agree with
More
your
players,
Canada
bye.
take,
Yes.
but Canada is not boring.
Canada's
Canada
not
is an
boring.
amazing
Love Canada.
place.
My dad's Canadian.
Yeah.
Or was.
No,
Canadian. Or
I'm
is?
just talking about like the Coyotes
Economically,
get, the Coyotes get crushed for this, and a lot of it's fair. I'm
But,
not saying it's not
Craig,
fair
it's
with
not
what they've
just-
been through,
It's the economics too. It's the Canadian
Yes.
dollar. It's the GST. It's taxes. It's
but it's also quality of life.
and players look at here and
Like-
go, "Oh, Florida."
Right.
taxes are like
If the
Florida.
Coyotes had an arena situation, if that was
Yes.
locked down, I have no doubt that this becomes an attractive destination. We had Jason Demers on the show yesterday
Yes.
talking about how many players live here.
here.
He said it would astound people if they
Yes.
knew how many ex-NHL players lived here.
And those
they
are-
love living
They're not
here.
all players that played for the Coyotes either.
Yes.
They're played for other franchise in here.
Yep.
And they're still here. So, okay.
All right. Well, that was the only trade I really wanted to talk about,
Okay.
unless there were others you
Nope.
guys wanted to touch on.
HK, I want to play a game.
Okay. Well, speaking of attractive destinations, there is an expansion team in the ECHL. Lake Tahoe. Tim Tebow, co-owner of the ECHL expansion team in Lake Tahoe that starts in the 2024-2025 season. Talk about a city like you can have Wheeling, West Virginia.
We need
or
that affiliation with the
Lake
Coyotes. Just saying.
Tahoe.
Buddy, let's go.
I'll volunteer
Can we
to
go
up
to
there and write
training
stories.
camp in Lake Tahoe?
Oh, yeah.
Lake Tahoe.
Bummer.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Twist my arm.
On the
Especially
road?
like in the early season when it doesn't get crazy cold.
Yes, please.
So I want to know from you guys what you would name the Lake Tahoe ECHL team.
I don't know.
Sean?
Is the Lakers too low hanging?
Is that
fruit?
too on point?
The
I don't know. Is it Tebow something? Can we call him something? Tebow? It's not quite the Ryan Reynolds.
I don't know.
Ottawa
I got
thing,
nothing.
Team
Anybody in the
Tebow.
chat have a name for
Yes,
Lake Tahoe?
please.
Can we call them the Olympians because the Olympics were in Squaw Valley right there?
No,
Yeah.
you can't. No.
Yeah.
Like, what-
No. Okay.
Does
Petey, shut
that make
down.
sense?
No, you can't.
We'll call them the Olympians because they had Olympics in Lake Placid. Like it's
No,
almost
not
the
Lake
same
Placid.
thing. We
Lake
used Squaw Valley,
Tahoe.
but it didn't say Lake Tahoe. They
It's
said
right
Squaw
there.
Valley.
It's
not
right
right
off
there.
It is right there. Have you been to it?
Yeah, but it's not in the name. Squaw Valley. If it was the Lake Tahoe Olympics.
state lines, Max said.
Gamblers.
Ooh, I like the
Oh,
Gamblers.
see, that's
it is
better.
right on the line with Nevada. There's a little
Busters?
part
That's
of it that's
better.
in Nevada.
The Lake Tahoe Busters, Altec said. All right. Well, let us know. Continue to let us know in the chat what you think. The Lake Tahoe Ice Zombies. That's out. All right.
If you're going to go way out there.
He's probably drinking.
And by the way,
Is
if
he
it's
drinking?
minor league, so you can go way out there because minor league franchises across sports have the best nicknames.
Charles said there was a junior team in Lake Tahoe once called the Icemen.
Swamp Rabbits.
Lake Tahoe sockeye,
Fish
popular
lake, I'm okay.
fish in the lake. All right, I like it. Keep letting us know. PD, are you gonna get up in the middle of the
I
show
might
again
because
to
I was
drink
just.
Four Peaks?
Are you?
This show comes to a screeching halt. That
Ooh,
yeah,
the
I probably
Yetis
need
is
It's
to
a
going
get
to
good
come
one.
to a screeching halt when
I
we
like
get to
the
the last
Yetis.
segment and I know nothing.
The
Because
Yetis.
I don't
the
do
Yetis.
trivia.
I don't mind that.
I like the Yetis.
I like the Yetis.
You can drink Four Peaks beer out of a Yeti
You can.
tumbler.
I
'cause
like Four Peaks
Yeti
beer. I had
does
one on the
keep-
show yesterday.
They do keep things cold. That's not a sponsor.
I
not
actually
an
think
ad.
that's the winner right there.
The
Yetis? I
I
do.
love
The
it.
Yetis is good.
Thanks, Sammy D. Love that. Check out Four Peaks.
Sponsored by
Today
Four
is
Peaks.
Tuesday, and every Tuesday at Four Peaks is Teacher Tuesdays. So you can go to the A Street Pub, bring a valid teacher ID, and receive $4 pints of Kit Lifter, Wow, Hazy, and Hop Knot. That is today, Tuesday, Teacher Tuesdays through July.
Fantastic.
If you're a
that they do that.
teacher,
That's great.
do
I love
that.
that too.
It's summertime. Teachers can go there like right
I
now.
want to
Yeah.
teacher.
It's like noon.
Yeah, tell Tara
Go
to
at noon.
swing by, get some discounted beer. You can check
$4
out
wows.
at Four Peaks Brew or at Four Peaks Pub to keep up with the latest at Arizona's hometown brewery. Must be 21
Love
or
that.
older to drink Four Peaks, and please drink responsibly. OGs, PD is slowly but surely
Yep.
getting on the OGs train. I know Craig's been on it, Sean's been on it, and this pink lemonade flavor has been phenomenal. So if you haven't tried it, check out the pink lemonade gummies. They're amazing. They're limited edition, so get them while they're hot. And OGs just doesn't miss when it comes to flavor and effect. You check out OGs online at ogsbrands.com and on Instagram at ogsbrands. You can also find their products at your local dispensary. You must be 21 or older to purchase. They're scratch locally made as well, so we love supporting local
Absolutely.
businesses. So check out OGs. We love. All right. New Tuesday segment.
Are we doing this?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I just want to. I want to say something right off the bat.
Yeah.
I don't do trivia.
Yeah.
I have enough useless information rattling around in my brain
Agreed.
right now.
Fair.
I don't play Wordle or whatever that new game is you guys were nerding out on before
Puckdoku.
I got here.
If anyone
So-
knows a player that's played on
I once got invited
Boston
out
and
of.
Nashville,
I got invited
DM
on a
me.
radio show to do a trivia here in Phoenix with Chuck Powell, who was one of my favorite all time guys.
Sure.
And I got 0 right. 0. Literally did not get a single answer right.
Okay.
It got awkward. Vince Morata was there too. It got awkward at some point where they're like, do we keep going?
I think though, Craig, and here's to preface it, I appreciate that because I would agree also that people just think that we talk about it, write about it, read about it that we should know all the answers to these hockey questions. By no means am I expecting that. They're meant to be fun. It's meant to get some people in the chat thinking a little bit. There is absolutely no pressure. I didn't go super difficult, but they're not super easy either. I picked a theme, and we'll get to the theme after.
All right.
We play.
Just preparing people that I suck.
That's fine.
So without further ado, it's time. And by the way, all graphics made by Steve Peters,
including the intro video.
Yeah. So without further ado, it's
Trivia
Tuesday.
Music, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Love it.
Let's look at it. Oh hell yeah! Look at this, Petey. You're coming for all of our jobs.
It's Trivia Tuesday.
There it is.
Software designer from Encino, California. Welcome, Leah Merrill. A dog walker from San Francisco, Craig Morgan, to play Trivia Tuesday.
Well,
Sean DePaz. Well, he can't because he knows the answers. He knows the answers.
Oh, that's not fair.
So we have 5 questions plus a bonus round.
Oh boy.
Today's topic is the draft because we're so recently removed from the draft. So today's topic is the draft. We have all questions in front of you, Craig. Are you pulling up the draft?
I don't have my
Should we close
glasses,
our laptops?
so you got to read
No, I
it.
trust you, but
No, I'm not
don't
pulling up the
cheat.
draft.
So are we ready
Twitter.
for the first question?
I'm barely paying attention.
Yes.
Now, if you paid attention to me, I talk about these two players all the time. So the first question. Since moving to the desert, the Coyotes have selected a goalie in the first round twice. Name those 2 goalies.
Byzantine?
Mark Byzantine is one from the Ontario League. Can you name the other? Patrick DeRoche back in 1998.
Let's go,
the answer.
Craig.
Ding, 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 ding. You got them both right. Combined, played 10 games for the Arizona Coyotes.
Okay.
Combined. First round draft pick goalies combined played 10 games. Yeah. Mark Byzantine played 1. Patrick DeRoche played 9 for a career total of 11 for Patrick DeRoche. Let's move on to the second question.
Okay.
We're going to keep it on goalies and the draft. Prior to the 2023 draft, where they picked 3 goalies, the Coyotes have drafted 20 goalies. Which one has played the most career NHL games? Career. This is not as a Coyote. This is career.
Oh, career.
NHL games.
Are we teaming up on this?
Yes.
Yeah.
So think.
And
Coyotes.
Chad, feel free to chime in.
I'm going to say...
Coyotes.
Chad said Steve missed his calling in life.
I'm going to say Louis Domingue.
Ooh, was he a Coyotes
Don't
draft
put up
pick?
the answer yet. Louis Domingue was a Coyotes draft pick, and you can't see my computer. Please don't look at my computer.
Could be Scott Darling, too.
Louis Domingue is second on that list, drafted in 2010. A
Mike
5th
Smith
round
was
pick.
not
Played
drafted here,
142 games in his NHL career. He's second. Louis Domingue, who's still trying to battle his way into the National Hockey. He's second. Who did you say it was the other one you just said?
Scott Darling was the other one.
Scott Darling is third. From 2007, 6th round pick, played 126 career NHL games.
Oh, I think I might have it. Is it Robert Esch?
Robert Esch, ding, 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 ding. And let's put up the list. The number 1 goalie that is drafted by the Coyotes in career NHL games is Robert Esch. Played 186. The most to play for a Coyote that they actually drafted was Louis Domingue, who played more Coyote games than Robert Esch. And you see the list: Aiden Hill, 4th. Eric Shalgren, 24 games. David Lenry. There were 10 goalies that they drafted that did not play a single game.
They haven't drafted and developed
and all of the rest of them,
starting goaltender.
Yep.
May become the first.
Maybe now it's time.
Not one.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Okay, we're staying with the draft.
Okay.
Question number 3. Now, these are all since moving to Arizona. I did not include the Winnipeg Jets. So since moving to Arizona, which Coyote drafted player has played the most games for this franchise as an Arizona or a Phoenix Coyote? So drafted by the Coyotes since 96 until now, which player has played the most games for Arizona? Not in the league, for Arizona.
So
which player?
Because he was drafted by the Jets.
Yeah, that's too. Can't go back to Winnipeg. It's got to be here in Arizona. Throw out some names. Got any thoughts?
Keith Yandel?
Keith Yandel is 3rd on that list. He played a total of 558 games.
Oliver Ekman-Larsson.
Oliver Ekman-Larsson has played the most games for the Coyotes. He has played 769 games, followed by Martin Hansel with 608. Keith Yandel. Michael Bodker comes in 4th with 445. And Clayton Keller climbing that list.
Don Maloney calls him Michael.
Clayton Keller climbing the list at 442, and he'll surpass Bodker for 4th all-time at the end of this season. Let's keep it with forwards. Now, not just this franchise, which Coyote drafted player has played the most career NHL games in his entire career? Any team.
Keith Yandel?
Let's go. Keith Yandel is second, drafted in 2005. He's played 1,109 NHL games.
How about Blake Wheeler?
Blake Wheeler is the correct answer. Blake Wheeler from 2004, fifth overall pick, has played 1,118 total games in the National Hockey League. Third was Danny Briere with 973. Ulrich Larson with 902. Daniel Winnick comes in fifth with
Recent guest of the
798.
show.
And Kyle Turris, sixth with 776.
Wow.
And those are your top draft picks ever drafted by this organization.
All right.
To the next question.
This is fun.
The Coyotes have selected a total of 226 players in the NHL draft since moving to Arizona. 150 of them are from Canada or the United States. Which country has the third most picks?
Oh boy, this is tough because they had a
Sweden.
propensity. They had a propensity for.
Check.
And if it was this
Czech
year,
players
you would
and
clearly
Slovak.
say Russia.
They had the Slovak mafia for a while.
Slovaks, there's a lot of Czechs in there. So you got to go back. This is all the way back to 1996 when Danny Briere was drafted.
I was 0 in 1996.
But 150 players, either U.S. or Canadian. By the way, Canada by far had the most players, and I had that
I
written
still
down.
think probably Sweden is the safest, or Finland, but
Sweden or Czechia?
Canada had 91. United States had 59 for those keeping score at home.
are we going
Every
with
guess
Sweden?
we've
So
been
here we go.
saying, you've been
Oh, you wanna
saying. Well, no, you've been saying where it is on the list, so we keep.
Oh,
guessing.
okay. So give me a
Czechia.
Sweden.
Oh.
Sweden is third, the third most, and that is the correct answer. Sweden has 19 picks, followed by Russia with 15.
I said
Czechia
Sweden in
with
the first
12.
10 seconds.
Finland
Yeah,
with 10. I didn't know that was your final answer. Swiss 6, Germany with 4, Slovakia with 3, Latvia 2, Belarus, Denmark, Kazakhstan, Norway, and the United
Wait,
Kingdom
what was
with
Czechia?
1. Czechia was 12.
Okay.
They were fifth.
Okay.
Sweden, Russia, Czechia.
Gotcha.
And Russia really picked up this year.
Right.
Otherwise, it would have been Czechia following Sweden.
All right.
So now here's your bonus, because we talk about 5 questions. We have a bonus round.
Okay.
This is the last question in today's Tuesday trivia. The Coyotes have selected 11 players in the top 10 of the draft. Name as many as you can in 1 minute.
Kyle Turris, Dylan Strome,
Ding.
Clayton Keller.
Ding.
Clayton Keller.
Jacob Chikrin.
Ding.
Jacob Chikrin?
No, he was
Jacob
16.
Chikrin was 16.
Oh, I thought he was.
Mikhail Bodker,
Yes.
Marty Hansel.
Yes.
Wait,
Wait. No,
Gunther.
Marty
Logan
Hansel was
Cooley.
a no. Marty Hansel was no.
Dylan
Sorry.
Gunther.
Dylan Gunther, 9th in 2021. Yes.
Logan Cooley,
Logan Cooley, 3rd in 2022.
Dmitry Simashev.
Simashev, 6th
Oh,
in
yeah.
2023.
How many do we have there?
You're still missing
Oh, Barrett Hayton.
Barrett Hayton,
Barrett
2018, coming in at 5th. So you got Simashev, Cooley, Gunther, Hayton, Dylan Strome, Kyle Turris. You're still missing a few. Did you say Bodker? I'll throw you Bodker as
Victor
a bone.
Soderstrom?
Yeah, I said Bodker.
Victor Soderstrom's a no.
No, Soderstrom's 11.
Oh.
I said Bodker, yes.
Bodker was 8th in
Did we
2008.
say OEO?
I'm missing OEL, 6th
Yes.
in 2009.
Oh, Max Domi.
Max Domi, no.
Oh.
Chris Kalanos?
No, you're
Can't
missing
remember.
2006. Peter Mueller
Peter Mueller.
was
yes.
8th in 2006. 5th overall in 2004, Blake Wheeler,
Oh, God.
Oh,
who I just
which
named.
we just talked about.
Yep.
And did we say Clayton Keller? Yeah, we did say
Yeah.
Clayton Keller. So the 2 we missed are Peter Mueller and Blake Wheeler
Yep.
for the 11 players. So that's Simashev, Cooley, Gunther, Hayton, Keller, Strome, Ekman Larson, Bodker, Turris, Mueller, and Wheeler. And those are the 11
was
top
Kalanos like
10.
11 or something?
Yeah,
Okay.
he was not. Yeah, I think it might have been 13. But those are
Okay.
your top 10 picks,
That was
all-time
fun, Petey.
franchise records. And that was Trivia Tuesday.
Nice.
Wow. Loved it. Thanks, Petey.
That was fun.
Thanks, Sean. That was awesome.
See, that was no pressure.
do
No.
we win
No.
anything? Not
No,
even a
I don't-
polar pop?
Sure, pull it pop.
I don't get anything
They
for
don't
not
sweat.
sucking.
No, but that was fun, and now you're
It was.
informed.
It was.
And people in the
Thanks
chat.
for the help chat. That was awesome. Yeah, a lot of them, like, I guessed because I thought they were in the top 10, but they'd be like 11 or 12. But
Yeah.
just goes to show, like, Chikrin, 16, I forgot about that. You can pick some mid-round, first
Yeah.
round, and have some good players.
I thought that was fun. I had a fun time looking stuff up.
All right, well, maybe we'll do at the end of the summer the grand trophy, the winner
It's cool.
has to have polar pop spot for them for like
Love
a
it.
month or something.
Love it.
I mean, great prize. Swing by Circle K, go inside, grab yourself a polar pop, try the Circle K snacks, the chips, money, the little candies,
Orange slices.
The orange slices are good. The gummy worms are good. The sour gummy worms. amazing stuff at Circle K. And Sean is now on the pumps.
Yes.
So you got to play PHNX bingo. Got to catch them all pretty much. And Sean is there. So just make sure you're not missing out on all the great stuff Circle K has to offer. Right now, you could text PHNX to 31310 to join their SMS subscriber club and get a buy one, get one free offer on 32-ounce Polar Pops. Head to circlek.com/store-locator to find a Circle K near you. And as always, join the family. Become a diehard. We're kind of in the slow season, but it doesn't matter because we're still here 5 days a week. And Craig has a diehard only article coming tomorrow.
Finally getting around to that Clayton Keller piece.
And there's some good stuff in there. And you got to be a diehard to read it. So become a diehard today. You get a free shirt or hat when you sign up. You get it every year after. And you also get 20% off on all merch, all events, and access to our Discord as well. So tons of great perks to becoming a diehard, and you can check out phnxlocker.com to rock the best merch in the Valley, if I do say so myself. So join the family.
Yeah, we had a little talk in the Discord yesterday about a 1-3-1 versus a 1-2-2.
Yeah, there was an impromptu PD's puck talk in Discord yesterday.
Yeah, so I think I might actually record a little video and put it just in the Discord.
There was also some maple syrup talk in the Discord this morning.
I love the maple syrup.
Also, the one thing, like Discord, they'll find the receipts.
Yes, they will.
They're amazing.
Well, they helped me out with my story for tomorrow.
So awesome stuff. Anything else before we head out?
No, it's great. That was
fun.
Tuesday. Fun.
Yeah, pack show.
66 to go.
Everybody who's watching, hit the like button before you leave here on YouTube, and be sure to subscribe to the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. Hit the notification bell so you never miss when we go live. We are here 11 a.m. Monday through Friday. Even in the off season, we are still here. And if you're listening on audio, be sure to follow, like, subscribe, leave us a review if you're listening on Apple. And you can follow all of us on Twitter at SPetersHockey, at Leah Merrill, at Craig S. Morgan, at Sean_DePaz, and the show at PHNX_Coyotes. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, everybody, and we will see you all tomorrow.